Hello, everybody. Hey, hey, hey. All right, you guys, we're getting ready to go live to have our Money Monday series. For those of you who are just tuning in, come on now, click that like button, click that subscribe button, and get ready to get some knowledge and wisdom here on the Juice Radio and Talk Show with Pastor Tawanna Grant and her Money Monday series and topics. Come on, y'all. Let's get ready to have some really good knowledge information. I'll be right back after this intro.
Welcome to the Juice Radio Talk Show. 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 Reality TV's church reviews. Let's talk happy love and marriage lifestyle. Come and talk with us. Come and share with us. Come and laugh with us. Come on and pray with us.
Regina Clovis, special guest. You should be following your lead. Bless. Subscribe on YouTube. Listen on podcasts. We live on IG and Facebook. This episode is sponsored by TRIUMPH Ministries.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank y'all for being here. It is time to grab your lunch and come on and learn over here with Pastor Tawanna Grant and the Juice Radio and Talk Show with our Money Monday series. Now, come on now. We are entrepreneurs and we want to share the entrepreneurial experience and knowledge with you. Grab your notepads, grab your headphones if you're at work. Do it on your break. Don't get fired now. Or watch this on the replay. But you guys, let's have some fun here and learn some more information here about businesses. Pastor Grant, let me tell you, thank you so much for being here. You have been such a blessing to me and this platform and others. I have been getting some beautiful inboxes regarding you. They really appreciate you sharing your knowledge and wisdom. And I just wanted to share that with you. And I am so excited every Monday. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Regina. Happy Monday, everyone, wherever you're watching us. I'm going to say in the world.
Come on now.
That's it. We appreciate you joining us on this journey that we're going to enable ourselves to win in every area of our lives, whether you are in business, you are in ministry, you are working in your home capacity. The information that we share really is applicable in many areas of your life. And so we are going into a wonderful new series talking about risk. Because there's a level of risk in everything that we do. That's one of the reasons as a homeowner, you have homeowner's insurance. As a vehicle owner, you have vehicle and car insurance. As an individual, as a person, you have personal life insurance. As a entrepreneur, you may have business insurance where you are insuring the property or your name, your brand, the artifacts that you create. All of those are necessary, one, to ensure that you're solvent in the event that something occurs, and also as an opportunity to mitigate risk and the significant impact that it could have to you personally. So we're really excited about going into this series. So today, we're just going to be setting the stage. I know we have a lot of things that are coming up that we're going to be talking about individually. I know we're going to talk about how do you assess risk? How do you assess it? How do I evaluate what level of risk I'm really carrying? How much liability will I have because of a certain amount of opportunity that I have advanced in? We're going to be talking about risk diversification. How can I, in a diversified way, manage my entrepreneurship, manage my business, manage my personal risk in a way that I diversified enough so that if I had an area where risk was encountered in one area, it doesn't cause the whole house to tumble. It doesn't cause everything. I don't lose everything. And so we want to look at how do I diversify? How do I segment different aspects where maybe I have a better, higher risk tolerance in this area because I don't stand much to lose. I can risk everything in that area, but I recognize this right here is my stability. This is my foundation. I cannot afford to lose everything in that area. And so you talk about how do you diversify your risk? And we're going to be talking about emergency funds and contingency planning. How can we plan for what could happen? I know we're always wanting to encourage us toward the happy path that everything will always go well. But we know this, that the Bible says no man go into war without weighing up the cost. There is a cost to everything. And also there's an associated risk to it. And so what is your contingency plan if this happens? I love that. Sometimes we disregard those that are on our team that sometimes may oppose our decision. I know I'm going to go more into this, but having that 10th man, that one person that has a different lens, a different aspect, can keep you out of a lot of trouble. That one person can say, yes, that's great. If everything go well, I'm assured that we're going to have success. But what if this happens?
Mm-hmm.
We want to talk about when we have that session, talking about contingency planning and an emergency fund. You've got to have something stored up. Even the Lord said in the word, consider the ant. He said, go and look at the ant, thou slug. How even in his times of harvest, he takes all the harvest, but he puts some up because he knows winter is going to come. So there is a change in season, even in your business, where you need to recognize that you need to have contingency because there's a fluctuation. There's a season. It has a cycle to how it moves. And so you need to take advantage of it when it's on the upswing, but you need to save for when it's going down. All right. We're also going to talk about how do you handle financial fraud? It happens. Oh my goodness. We're operating in this capacity of the internet where there are cyber threats, where there's immediate access to your information. It can be immediate access to your financial assets. How do you protect that? How do you look to shield yourself in a way that protects you from liabilities and from the opportunities of threat and fraud? And then lastly, we're going to talk about market volatility and how do you also ensure that you are compliant with regulatory. You hear it in the news all the time. People are in business, people are operating in faith, and then the legalities or the compliance regulators come in and they close the door. The last thing you want to do is not be aware of the rules and regulations that authorize you to be in business. Yes. Because if you are not compliant with those things, they can also authorize you to have to close. And so that is a very important asset, a very important awareness to any line of business. What is it not only do I need to have to open up, but what do I need to be doing to ensure I keep my doors open? So this is a great, great series about risk. And I thank you, Regina, for allowing us to have this opportunity to dialogue about this, because a lot of times we don't even think about that. We don't think about it. We don't think about what could happen and how imperative it is. And so I want to just really talk about today some of the basic 4 reasons why risk and being aware of it is so important. Why? Why do we need to have risk management in my business? Why is it so imperative? My goal is really to service or provide a product and get it out on the market and then make a revenue, right? But there's some things that you also need to be aware. It is just associated with doing business. Some things come along with doing business. One of them is an important part about risk is that it helps you reduce uncertainty. When you evaluate what are your angles of risk, what could happen, it helps you reduce the level of uncertainty. Why? Because you've already thought it through. And so peradventure, if something happens, you already have your contingency plan. You already have thought out what are the 5 major areas, or 6 or 10, depending on your level of your operation. What are those major areas where traditionally, if something happens, I am impacted? There's some line of businesses, there's uncertainty around weather. If your line of business does things outside, your line of business is delivering, and the weather outside is an impactful event. If it is a catastrophe, it could prevent you from servicing your clients or getting to your clients, or prevent your clients from getting to you. Then there's a point of uncertainty with weather. And so having a risk mitigation plan is very important for you. What do you do? What do you do when you can't get your trucks on the road? What do you do when you have material in your warehouse and you can't get it to your people? So that's why risk management is so important, because it helps you evaluate, think through, have a plan, analyze what is your plan B when certain things happen, and it takes away that uncertainty of what will I do?
Yeah, a lot of people, when they start in business, Pastor Grant, and I'm so glad that you are mentioning this, and we'll add this to the title, you guys, and that's my mistake. I put that up there. But you guys, when you start these businesses, like Pastor Grant said, what we oftentimes want to do is think about the revenue, think about earning money real fast, but we don't really put the thought into the risk part of it and what we need to have in place to be prepared. This is what the risk management that she's talking about. So as you're getting your businesses established, also put into place something to cover this risk management part of your business. Now, a lot of people even a lot of people, when they have programs and when they have events and when they have conferences, they rarely will speak about this part, this risk management part. It is super, super important to have this information. Now, I'm going to turn it back over to Pastor Grant. You guys remember, starting out your business, this is one of the most important parts of business, but it's the least talked about. So
Yes.
please, we need to have this discussion. Pastor Grant, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Thank you again.
I just wanted to set the stage today because I know we're supposed to be wrapping up the exit plan, but I want people to get ready. Get ready
That's
for what
right.
we're going to talk about. Get ready to share with others. Get ready to go into this good information because we're going to be starting it not next Monday, but the following Monday. We're going to be
Absolutely.
talking about what do you need to do in order to craft a mitigation plan for risk. How do I evaluate? What are some of the key points that I want to look at? Where do I go as far as information? Who are the people that I need to tap into?
Yes.
Because sometimes, again, you're thinking from a ground level view. Sometimes others who have a more purview of what happens in your space, what happens in that lane, someone who's already gone down that road who can say, hey, these are some words of wisdom that I can share to you with you that you may want to consider. And so all of those things need to be taken up as part of your risk mitigation plan. So we want to, I tell you, I just want to get you all geared up and excited to join us as we go into February, because this is so key. That is it's the month of love, right? Across the world. People think about February as Valentine's. Well, I want you to love your business enough to protect it.
You better say that.
Love your dream enough to protect it.
Yes.
Love your entrepreneur enough to make sure that it's solvent and that it can continue past any type of incident. And you do that with your risk mitigation plan. And so even as we wrap up, we're wrapping up our exit plan from last week conversation. It was wonderful. We really want to talk about, as you are operating, what do you want to do with your organization as you look at what's your next? I believe, isn't that what we're doing today, exit planning? You want to consider some of those evaluation points that we talked about. How do I expand it? Maybe even, and I was in a great conversation with another peer. We were talking in our business mastermind business fellowship. We were talking about passing it over. How do you sell your business? Sometimes your exit plan, you might be an innovator. You might be the person who starts it. You might be the person who has the dream and the vision, and then you pick it up, you get it started, and then you sell it out. It's same like, what is that water? Vitamin water.
Okay.
The gentleman who started that, he is in music, and he sold it for billions, and they took it further. He may have invested hundreds of thousands. He might have invested maybe 1 million, but he sold it for millions or $1 billion. So again, starting the initial vision, starting the initial point of it, your exit plan may be, I don't want to run this forever. I don't want to own this business. I just want to get it up. And then I want to sell it to somebody who can take it to the next level.
Wow.
Sometimes we are empowered with being a visionary. I believe that. I've been telling my family, I'm not looking to run them. I'm looking to get them set up, and then the family take it to the next level, or the person that we've identified and we know they have the skill set, then you take it. Because that's a lot of times that's how generational wealth is built. We don't think about it.
That's right.
Who do you pass the torch to? How do I exit out of this in a plan that there's a good succession plan? Have you thought about that? Have you created your succession plan about who's next?
Come on now.
And even for you, sometimes, what is your next? What is your next? How are you going to go to that next level of innovation, that next level, even in your business now, whether you want to maintain it? There's always a better way of doing things, right? They have that same saying, good, better, best. Wow. Good, better, best. Sometimes whatever we're doing now is good, but we want to go to better.
Yes.
And then ultimately, you want to get what's best, where you are flying and is able to operate on its own. That's what I've heard this from one gentleman, which was very good. It talked about how you migrate from being self-employed to being an entrepreneur, self-employed from being a person who has people work for you. And so when your business gets to the capacity, that's really a next step in your exit plan, right? When you move from one level of grace to another, the Bible talks about. When you move from one level of faith to the next, so that you're not doing everything. I know, Regina, you have a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of capacities and entrepreneurship that you're running. And so certainly one of the things of growing it to the next stage is when when you can start to move out and others are more taking care of that particular one, and then you put more attention into another, that is also a way of getting to an exit plan.
That's right.
How do you move into your next stage while the vision continues? I've seen it before. Yeah, I've seen it before.
Yes.
You probably have too, where people tried to hold on to vision, but your time has expired.
Woo.
Yes.
And you gotta learn how to have that let go spirit.
Yes.
Learn.
It's just like Saul. Saul recognized eventually that the anointing had left him, and it was now David's turn. Sometimes we forget that sometimes that anointing for you in that space has shifted. Yes. And it's time to pass the torch to someone else who can carry it with much more strength, who can carry it with the new lens and new ideas and new creativities. Because sometimes, if you be honest, we've been used to doing it a certain way, and we feel like our way is the only way. And the only way we can oftentimes move it to the next level is another set of eyes.
Yes.
Another set of hands.
Another set of hands.
Yes. And I want to encourage that, especially for some of you entrepreneurs who are doing it alone. Don't go the whole journey by yourself, because at some point you're going to need somebody else who is going to be able to take it up. I've seen this on so many occasions. I even have others that I speak with now. There's no one to turn it to. They have operated a life in a particular business that they've owned, and there's no one ready or no one even willing to take the torch. And so either you continue it or it dies on the vine.
And so many many great businesses have, Pastor Grant.
Yes, I remember the hamburger lady here in Atlanta. People loved her. And I believe they said when she passed away, it was never the same individually. They closed. Because there wasn't that succession, that person walking beside her, that person seeing exactly what she did to be able to execute it. While it doesn't have to be a written manual of how to do everything, there's some core components of your business that is necessary for your successor to learn in order to at least maintain stability and then take it to another level. You can't let it go down. You ever been somewhere, Regina, and you went in and you said, oh, this must be under new management. New management is supposed to mean better.
Woo!
Lord help. When it comes to new management, it should be better. It should be another level of execution, another level of excellence. It should be something in addition to, not degraded from. Addition to what you were doing, not degraded from it. So when they walk in, it was like, oh, this is even better. Good, better, best.
Good, better, best. I like that saying.
Best. And so that is the evolution. Even in creating the exit plan, I've known some who have created an exit plan and their idea is, I'm just going to stop. Well, maybe it wasn't intended for you. You stopped because you've given out of strength and energy. But because you built a brand, it's worth looking at succession. And
that's right.
We see that a lot even in a ministry, that people don't plan ahead successfully for succession. Who's next?
Oh, my goodness.
Who are you building in the opportunity of faith and ability and anointing, and has that synergy and enablement to engage with others who oftentimes carry specific. Yes, that's what Elisha and Elijah, he walked with her.
Come on now.
He said, I'm going to walk with you. I'm going to stay with you long enough. He said, if you be with me, you can carry that anointing, a double portion.
Yes.
And so sometimes we don't have anybody along with us because we try to segment ourselves as the CEO, as the manager, and we don't give others an opportunity to come in and share it so that they are part of the collaborative experience. And then they have enough awareness to be able to take it successfully. And so we've seen that graceful model of exiting. I've seen that graceful. We see that in the Bible. We see that with others. Well, Paul and others, they taught Timothy. They trained him in the way to carry that next. Who else is next? Who's going next in your business? That's what we should be identifying. How do you assess that? I'm doing my doctoral on leadership traits. How do you look at certain leadership traits to evaluate whether it works in your organization? Because I've seen this too, and I've experienced where they passed the torch to somebody who was not capable, was not able, and was not anointed. And then everything fell apart. And so identifying—
Same thing in business.
Yes, in business and in ministry. I've seen it. And so it's so important that even as you pass the torch, that there's a level of awareness with the people that they'll be working with. They've got to respect them. They've got to see them as a person who can continue the vision on, because I've heard it said, and it's so true. If you don't have anybody following you, you're just a man or woman taking a walk. You're on your own. And so even as you have somebody come along with you, you want to have them journey. They have to buy in.
Yes.
And so sometimes we forget that, a lot of times, because we are the CEO or we are the originator, the innovator, we forget that people need to also buy into your vision.
Yes.
Also buy into your decisions, right?
Yes, absolutely.
The company of many, their safety. And so I've seen that, how you go in, and I've had leaders and mentors who poured into me, how when you get something, a vision articulated to others, you tell them about your why. Why are we doing this? Why? And then how is this important to me? What value do I bring to this? And then how is it valuable to me?
Come on now.
How can I be a part of this experience so that it does well? And then how can this experience be well to me? And listen, you can have a much more easier transition and succession to your exit plan when others are aware. Short notice seems short-sighted.
Ooh.
Remember that. Write that down. Short notice appears short-sighted. When you give people, when you start tracking, when you tell people along the journey where we're going, what you can expect, how we're going to get there, what is the method, how are we doing it together, they come alongside of you for the journey. Even in exit, I've seen that some people feel like, well, I can't leave because they can't make it without. No, you can't leave because you have not successfully planned an exit plan. You have not successfully communicated. You have not successfully led other leaders so that they now can lead. You have not successfully moved into a mentor from being a doer to an officiator, a monitor, a mentor of doers. And so it's not that you cannot lead or you cannot leave or you cannot transition. You've got to craft your plan. You got to craft your strategy, and then you've got to move it out. Yes. Short notice appears short-sighted.
Yes.
When you let people know about the long, that's what God does to us. Oh my God. When he gives us vision, when he gives us understanding, clarity, he said, now that's where you're going. Now you got to walk through it to get there. This is when the process starts. And so when we follow his example of how he tells us about what's going to come, how he tells us about our vision, and then he gives us instruction along the way. Then he gives us wisdom and purpose to make it through. He gives us purpose so that as we go through the process, we don't faint. He gives us purpose. He lets us know where we're going. He lets us know what he's already decreed and declared. And then he takes us through the process so that because you know where you're going, you won't faint. You won't give up. You won't buckle. You won't crumble. You won't throw in the towel. You'll be able to stand. So the same as when you're planning your exit plan, you're letting the people know, I'm here. I'm going to strengthen you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to guide you. I'm going to task with you. We're going to be solvent. We're going to be stable. We're going to be unmovable. It's going to last. And then guess what? I trust y'all to make it even better. I trust y'all enough that when I move out of the place, I can look back and say, look what they did, y'all. I didn't have to be there to see it go up to the next level. That's what a good leader looks like. Oh my God.
Come on.
You have to have your name and hand in everything, but you get a chance to see your people make great happen. Yes. You can be the visionary, but you can have an exit plan. Yes, you can.
Come on now.
You can have the right people. When you access their traits and their leadership, their ability to engage, their ability to work with others, their ability to handle pressure. Oh my God, because you can have the smartest person in the world, but if you don't know how to work with people, you're not going to get very far. You can be the smartest person in the world, but if you don't know how to engage, how to communicate, how to handle conflict, these are some of the leadership traits that you have to evaluate when you are passing the torch if you want to be successful.
Yes.
Because when we don't see that, when that doesn't happen, we see the results of it. When there's a lack of planning, we see the results of it. We see the results of it in the culture being dissembled. We see it in the culture, in the way that people start to organize and operate together, because that's part of the culture. How do we work together?
Come on now.
Your exit plan in the right way. Organization, the culture is how we work together. How do we get stuff done? What happens is when we haven't created that exit plan and we start working it and we bring people along on the journey, how they operate start to crumble. How they start to get things done starts to crumble. And then it starts to a lack of productivity. It starts to a lack of passion. It starts to a lack of attendance. I preached to God, gave me a word a couple of months ago, keep showing up. They started to not want to show up. Yes, because they don't see that engagement. They don't see or feel. It is said that people don't remember all the time what you say. They remember how you made them feel.
Woo!
So when they feel valued, when they feel like they've added, when they feel like a part of the experience, they stay. That's how you create loyalty, even when you make your exit plan. They say, oh my God, he's left it in good hands. Oh my God, she's made a good plan and I'm on board with that. Yes, teamwork makes the dream work. So when we operate together, it's not just you, but it's the collaborative effort of everybody. We talked about that the other week, multiplication. It goes from addition to multiplication because the two of us added together in agreement. The scripture talks about it. You can have anything you ask. And so we work together. We can have any goal that we set out to achieve because we're doing it as a collaborative effort. So you can do it even in an exit plan. It can be in a collaborative effort. You can ask people, what is it that you need that I bring to your specific area, or I bring to your area of ministry, or that I bring personally that you would want to see in the next leader? Because sometimes while we may feel like we've done everything, while we may feel like we are perfect, there might be some things that they give you awareness of that you weren't doing that they really needed. And so having that conversation is so important because you have an opportunity to evaluate. Yes. For assessment, you have to evaluate, and you have to be willing to hear critique. You cannot grow. You cannot grow without critique. You cannot grow without positive feedback. How do I do things better? And so that is so important, even as you look at your exit plan, even as you look at where you're going next. And so as we already talked about the top of the hour, we're going to be talking about starting in the month of March, rather February. We're going to be talking about risk management. How do I assess risk? How do I evaluate risk? How do I look at diversifying? How do I look at contingency planning? How do I look at emergency fund? All of those pieces that will help you be solvent because life happens. Whether you believe it or not, even with the best of plans, even with the best of strategies, you have to have a contingency plan. It's necessary. Look at the plane. Look at the plane. They always have them trained in the event of an emergency. And that's the same thing. In no car you drive, they have all airbags. They have all kinds of things in place in the event of an emergency. So why would you have something in place for your business in the event of an emergency? Because life happens. So I've enjoyed today, talking to you and setting it up for our next new series that we're going into, and enjoy talking about your exit plan because you need one in every business. You need to know there's an opportunity for you, even not at the end of your journey, but somewhere even in between. There have been so many out in the marketplace that have sold businesses even while they were still in good state. They didn't wait till it started to decline. They didn't wait. They sold it when it was at a good place, and the next person could take it further. So we want you to consider that even in your exit planning, to make sure that you look at it and evaluate how can it go from good to better to best.
Come on now. I have loved this. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Ollie Hall. Y'all have been so great in these chats. Pastor Grant, I always love this. Thank you so much. Listen, the exit plan is important, but risk management, that when you sent me that and said, we're going to start this, I was so elated, so excited, because a lot of businesses fail because they don't have this part of their business in place. And so this is much needed. This is amazing work that you're doing, but I don't know if you can tell, I'm just excited about this risk management. I am so excited about this because I think we're covering something that a lot of bloggers and business shows are not covering. They're trying to teach you how to make the money. Of course, that's not a bad thing. They're teaching you how to be productive. They're teaching you how to market, but nobody is really teaching the exit plan or the risk management that I have seen. Now, there may be some out there. So you guys, you want to be back every Monday. Mondays at 12 noon. Next week, Monday, Pastor Grant has an engagement that she has to be at. So we're going to run a repeat video of her. So y'all still come on back here, okay?
Yes, come on back.
It will be a replay. And then we're gonna restart the program again, fresh and new, and the lives will start again in February, picking up with the series of risk management. So make sure you guys are back here. And Pastor Grant, I'm gonna say this as we bring this to a close, and the quote, because I wrote this down when you were talking about people leaving and then the business having to go on. And I wrote this quote, thank you, Holy Spirit. People may retire, but the business should go on.
Yes.
So, just because you retire does not mean that business has to retire. That business should still go on. Thank you so much, Pastor Grant. Thank you so much, Ollie Hall, for this beautiful. She said, thank you so much, Pastor Grant and the Juice family. Thank you so very much. You guys, Pastor Grant is a beautiful pastor, has a ministry in Riverdale, Georgia, My Father's House Pentecostal Church, along with her beautiful sister, Pastor Latoya Crawford. I keep telling you, Latoya.
Smith. She recently married.
Latoya in my chat. I can't.
That's
Pastor Crawford. Just call it Pastor Crawford.
It's Smith now. Yes, it's Smith now. She just married last month.
That's
right. Yes.
Beautiful wedding. Pastor Crawford, my apologies. Pastor Smith, my apologies. Pastor Latanya Crawford Smith. Okay.
Yes.
And they're over there at My Father's House Pentecostal Church. All the information is in the chat. Listen, Pastor Grant invites you to come over there to My Father's House Pentecostal Church. Get involved. And if you cannot attend in-house, you can always attend online on their Facebook page. It is a wonderful, wonderful ministry. They're doing great works out there. You want to be a part of this. All right. Thank you so much, Pastor Grant, for being here. We'll see everyone again on our next episode of Money Mondays here on the Juice Radio and Talk Show with Pastor Tawanna Grant. We'll see y'all on the next one. Be blessed, y'all.
Blessings.